Hello. We are poets from Sri Lanka and its diaspora, both Sinhala and Tamil, coming together as a people who have suffered and are still suffering from militarization, colonialism, and oppression. We stand with the people of Palestine in recognition of their suffering. We join the call for truth and justice to be allowed a voice, recognizing that peace can only be achieved when it walks hand in hand with love and honour. Thank you, Ghazal, and this wonderful community of poets for inviting us. I will now hand over to Khazro Ponudure, who will read in Tamil.
Hello everyone, my name is Castro Panadurai. Uh, I'm going to read one poem called A Voice from Palestine by M.A. Nuhuman. Uh, it was originally written in Tamil, and I'm going to read the original one. Uh, Before reading that, I will give a brief uh, introduction about the poem. It was written in 2023 when Israeli Defense Minister said that they are fighting with human animals, and Prime Minister Netanyahu said in his address to the nation that Israel is fighting with the enemies of civilization. This war is between forces of civilization and the forces of barbarism. This poem is in response to their utterances. நீ சொல்கிறாய் நாங்கள் மனித விலங்குகளுடன் போரிடுகிறோம் என்று. அவர்களை அப்படித்தான் நடத்த வேண்டும் என்று சொல்கிறாய். நீ அப்படித்தான் சொல்வாய். உன் மூளை மரத்துவிட்டது. உன் இதயம் காய்ந்து விட்டது. விலங்குகளை அவமதியாதே. விலங்குகள் மனிதரின் தோழர்கள். விலங்குகள் இல்லாத உலகில் நீயும் நானும் வாழ முடியாது. விலங்குகளை அவமதியாதே. விலங்குகள் ஆக்கிரமிப்பதில்லை. விலங்குகள் குண்டு வீசி மனிதரைக் கொல்வதில்லை. விலங்குகள் ஒரு தேசத்தை அபகரிப்பதில்லை. விலங்குகள் மனிதரை தங்கள் வீடுகளை விட்டு துரத்துவதில்லை. கிராமங்களை நிர்மூலமாக்குவதில்லை. விலங்குகள் மனிதரை அகதிகளாக்குவதில்லை. விலங்குகளை அவமதியாதே. நீ யாரென்று யோசித்துப் பார். நீ எங்கிருந்து வந்தாய், எப்படி இங்கு வந்தாய் என்பதை எண்ணிப்பார். எப்படி எங்கள் மண்ணில் காலூன்றினாய், எப்படி எங்களை துரத்தினாய், எப்படி எங்கள் கிராமங்களை அழித்தாய், எப்படி எங்களை கொன்று குவித்தாய், எப்படி எங்களை அகதிகளாக்கினாய், எப்படி எங்களை சிறையில் அடைத்தாய் என்பதை எண்ணிப்பார். உனக்கு எல்லாம் மறந்துவிட்டது. உன் மனச்சாட்சி மடிந்து விட்டது. உன் இதயம் காய்ந்து விட்டது. உன் மூளை மரத்து விட்டது. நீ எங்களை பயங்கரவாதி என்கிறாய். மனித விலங்குகள் என்கிறாய். விலங்குகளை அவமதியாதே. எங்கள் அமைதியைக் குலைத்தவன் நீ இல்லையா? எங்கள் தேன்கூட்டை கலைத்தவன் நீ இல்லையா? எங்கள் ஒலிவ மரங்களை அழித்தவன் நீ இல்லையா? எங்களை துப்பாக்கி தூக்க வைத்தவன் நீ இல்லையா? எங்கள் குழந்தைகளை கல்பொறுக்க வைத்தவன் நீ இல்லையா? இப்போது நீ எங்களை பயங்கரவாதி என்கிறாய். மனித விலங்குகள் என்கிறாய். விலங்குகளை அவமதியாதே. நீ சொல்கிறாய், நாங்கள் நாகரிகத்தின் எதிரிகளுடன் போரிடுகிறோம் என்று. இது நாகரிக சக்திகளுக்கும் காட்டுமிராண்டிகளுக்கும் இடையிலான போர் என்று சொல்கிறாய். இந்த நூற்றாண்டின் பெரிய நகைச்சுவை இல்லையா இது? நான் சொல்ல வேண்டியதை நீ சொல்கிறாயா? சாத்தான் வேதம் ஓதுகிறதா? ஹிட்லருக்குப் பிறகு அவன் பாதையில் செல்லும் மனித நாகரிகத்தின் மோசமான எதிரி நீ இல்லையா? உலகின் பெரிய பயங்கரவாதிகள் உன்னை ஆதரிக்கிறார்கள். ஆனால் உன் கண்களைத் திறந்து பார். நீதி உணர்ச்சி கொண்ட மக்கள் உலகெங்கும் உனக்கெதிராக கிளர்ந்தெழுகிறார்கள். நீதி உணர்ச்சி மிக்க உன் சொந்த மக்களே உனக்கெதிராக கிளர்ந்தெழுகிறார்கள். உங்கள் முடிவு நெருங்கிவிட்டது. அநியாயக்காரர்கள் நிலைத்திருப்பதில்லை. வரலாறு அவர்களை காரி உமிழ்கிறது. அந்த வரிசையில் நீ வந்து நிற்கிறாய். உன் முடிவு நெருங்கிவிட்டது. உன் மனச்சாட்சி மடிந்து விட்டது. உன் இதயம் காய்ந்து விட்டது. உன் மூளை மரத்து விட்டது. உன் சித்தம் கலங்கிவிட்டது. உனக்கு எல்லாம் மறந்துவிட்டது. நீ எங்களை மனித விலங்குகள் என்கிறாய். காட்டு மிராண்டிகள் என்கிறாய். நாகரிகத்தின் எதிரி என்கிறாய். எங்களை முற்றாக அழித்துவிட ஆசைப்படுகிறாய். எங்களை அழித்துவிட்டு நிம்மதியாய் தூங்கலாம் எனக் கனவு காண்கிறாய். அது நடக்காது. உலகில் ஒரு துளி நீதி இருக்கும் வரை அது நடக்காது. பிறரின் அமைதியைக் குலைத்தவனுக்கு ஏது அமைதி? பிறரின் சுதந்திரத்தைப் பறித்தவனுக்கு ஏது சுதந்திரம்? இன்னும் இன்னும் 1000 குண்டுகளை வீசி நீ எங்களை அழிக்கலாம். இந்த இடிபாடுகளிலிருந்து, அந்தச் சாம்பலிலிருந்து மீண்டும் மீண்டும் நாங்கள் உயிர்த்தெழுவோம். உன் கனவுகளைக் கலைப்போம். உன் ஆயுதங்களை செங்கடலில் வீசிவிட்டு, ஒரு ஒலிவம் கிளையைக் கையில் எடுத்துக்கொண்டு என்னை நோக்கி வா. 75 வருடகால உன் பாவங்களை நான் மன்னித்து விடுகிறேன். உன்னை அரவணைத்துக் கொள்கிறேன். என் மண்ணில் வாழ உனக்கும் இடம் தருகிறேன். நாம் நம் வீடுகளில் நிம்மதியாகத் தூங்கி எழலாம். அதற்கு நீ தயாரா? உன் இதயத்தில் ஈரம் கசியட்டும். உன் உணர்வு துளிர்க்கட்டும். உன் சித்தம் தெளியட்டும். அதற்கு நீ தயாரா? உன் ஆயுதங்களைக் கடலில் வீசிவிட்டு ஒரு ஒலிவம் கிளையுடன் வர நீ தயாரா? அதுவரை கலைக்கப்பட்ட தேனீக்கள் உன்னைத் துரத்திக் கொண்டே இருக்கும். உன் காதில் இரைந்து கொண்டே இருக்கும். எங்களை முற்றாக அழித்துவிடலாம் என்று மட்டும் கனவு காணாதே. அது நடக்காது. உலகில் ஒரு துளி நீதி இருக்கும் வரை அது நடக்காது. அதுவரை கலைக்கப்பட்ட தேனீக்கள் உன்னைத் துரத்திக் கொண்டே இருக்கும். உன் காதில் இரைந்து கொண்டே இருக்கும். எங்களை முற்றாக அழித்துவிடலாம் என்று மட்டும் கனவு காணாதே. அது நடக்காது. உலகில் ஒரு துளி நீதி இருக்கும் வரை அது நடக்காது. This poem was written by M.A. Nuhuman. Nuhuman is a poet, literary critic, and translator who has published more than 30 books. He retired as a professor of Tamil at the University of Peradeniya, Sri Lanka. And his poem Murder, Butharin Padukolai in Tamil language original is a highly acclaimed protest of the 1981 burning of the Jaffna Public Library. Thank you.
Hi, this is Amod Parakamage, and I'm reading a couple of poems. The first one is by me called Midnight Marching for Palestine in Lubbock, Texas, October 2023. Lanterns say holy beings get down from trees at midnight and roam looking for souls to save. Something got into our heads during that early Halloween party. Maybe the weed synchronized with mindless drinking and hours of nonsense. Somebody's excess breakup, the new assistant crop, my curried cashews, digging up the soil to determine the cause for my peace lily's demise. Then flashed the random memory of a road trip, motorcycles, Che Guevara, Bob Marley, and reggae, and how nobody gives a fuck about reggae in West Texas. Jahan was about to ping an Uber home. Maybe he did. Why was Samir making out with my doorknob? I didn't even know we were playing Truth or Dare. Still no take us into our wild cheers of make out, who mixed ceasefire now. Maybe Amir, maybe his teenage girlfriend who wasn't even supposed to be drinking. In no time, Kavin was banging the door demanding a ceasefire. Tanisha lit up a scented Walmart candle to make it a vigil. Few had the presence of mind to grab their shoes, but the moon nodded as we marched through the streets. A stray dog joined. A midnight skater stopped by and asked if we are all right. I gave him a hug and told him we are fine. Then we marched back to our apartment. I froze and pictured my brain splatter on the sidewalk like graffiti. He screamed and screamed, but the others drowned out his voice and marched on without noticing. When the dark cavities of our eyes finally seemed to lock, he lowered the gun and nodded in their direction. Heck, don't see why the great state of Texas can't form our country, he said. And the next poem is called Yet Another Incident in July by Basil Fernando. Yet Another Incident in July 1983. Burying the dead, being an art well developed in our times, our psychoanalysts have helped us much to keep balanced minds, whatever that may mean. There is no reason really for this matter to remain so vivid, as if some rare occurrence. I assure you, I'm not sentimental, never having had a breakdown, as they say. I'm as shy of my emotions as you are, and I attend to my daily tasks in a very matter of fact way. Being prudent too. When a government says forget, I act accordingly. My ability to forget has never been doubted, never having had any adverse comments on that score either. Yet I remember the way they stopped that car, the mob. There were four in that car, a girl, a boy, between 4 and 5 it seemed, and their parents, I guessed, the man and the woman. It was in the same way they stopped other cars. I did not notice any marked difference. A few questions in game mood, not to make a mistake, I suppose. Then they proceeded to action. By then routine, pouring petrol and all that stuff. Then someone noticed something odd, as it were, opened the two left side doors, took away the two children, crying and resisting as they were moved away from their parents. Children's emotions have sometimes to be ignored for their own good, the guy must have thought. Someone practical was quick, lighting a match efficiently. An instant fire followed, adding one more to many around. Around the fire they chattered of some new adventure. A few scattered. What the two inside felt or thought was no matter. Peace-loving people were hurrying towards homes as in a procession. Then suddenly, the man inside, breaking open the door, was out, his shirt already on fire and hair too. Then bending, took his two children, not even looking around as if executing a calculated decision. He resolutely entered the car. Once inside, he closed the door himself. I heard the noise distinctly. Still, the ruined car is there by the roadside with other such things. Maybe the municipality will remove it one of these days to the capital's garbage pit. The cleanliness of the capital receives authority's top priority. And the final poem I'm going to read is by Laktas Wickramasinghe called Don't Talk to Me About Matisse. It's an angry poem. Don't talk to me about Matisse. Don't talk to me about Matisse. Don't talk to me about Gauguin or even the earless painter Van Gogh and the woman reclining on a blood spread, the Aboriginal shot dead by the great white hunter Matisse. With a gun with two nostrils, the Aboriginal crucified by Gauguin, the syphilis spreader, the yellowed obesity. Don't talk to me about Matisse, the European style of 1900s, the tradition of the studio where the nude woman reclines forever on a sheet of blood. Talk to me instead of the culture generally, for the murderers were sustained by the beauty robbed of savages. To our remote villages the painters came, and our whitewashed mud huts were splattered with gunfire. Thank you.
I'm going to read an extract from M.A. Numan's poem, A Voice from Palestine, in translation. The poem that Khosrow read just before, a little earlier. Numan is a Muslim poet writing in Tamil, and he's one of the first, may even be the first, to translate Palestinian poetry into Tamil in the 1970s. These translations became very popular. So it's very apt that we listen to his poem today. A Voice from Palestine is written in November 2023. Israel's defense minister says, we are fighting with human animals. The Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu, says, the war is between forces of civilization and the forces of barbarism. This poem is a response. This is a war against animals, you say, and we give them the treatment they deserve. Beasts. It is no surprise, though, your beastly words. Your brain's dead, your heart has gone cold. Respect the ways of animals. They are the friends of this world's humans. We will perish if there were no animals among us. Do not demean them with indignities. They do not dominate. They do not bomb life out of people. They do not covet nations. They do not forcibly remove them from their homes. They do not raise entire villages into oblivion. They do not turn ordinary men, women, children into refugees. Do not insult them with your words. Think again who you are, who you may be, from which place and to which land you have come. Reflect. How did you set foot on this land of ours, and how you took it and chased us out? How you demolished our villages and piled dead bodies in a heap together and caged us in prison cells? Reflect. Where is your conscience? Where is the warmth of your heart? Why has your mind gone dry and numb? Why are we terrorists? To you, we are human beings. Show respect to those in the animal world. Do not insult them with your words. Are you not the one who disturbed the peace of this land, the one who destroyed the honeybee's home, the one who fell down our olive trees, the one who hung us on the tip of the rifle point, the one who turned our children into wielders of rocks? To you now, we are terrorists. We are fighting the force of barbarism, you say. This is a clash of the forces of civilization and savagery, you say. We listen to this century's biggest joke, I say. Like Satan reciting the Vedam, you have taken the words from my mouth. Are you not the villain fighting human worth? Marching on the path carved by that villain of the human race, Hitler? Are you not all this? I'm jumping to the end now. Discard in the wide seas your weapons of destruction. Come forth with forethought, with the olive branch in your hand. Until then, the bees in their wrath at the destruction of the home will pursue you endlessly. They will hover around you, buzzing in your ears the chant of freedom, disturbing your dream of annihilation of our indefatigable spirit. Wake up. The world is waking up until the last drop of just thought is alive on this earth. We will not be destroyed. Our spirit will not be vanquished. The next two poems are about the last phase of the war in Sri Lanka between the liberation tigers of Tamil and the Sri Lankan state, which took place off the shores of the lagoon Nandikadal in the northeast of Sri Lanka. The first extract is an extract of Numan's poem, the one I read, whose poem I read earlier. An extract, Nandikadal by M.A. Numan, an extract. From the south, fire-breathing missiles. From the north, too, they come to explode just where we are. The sword-wielding lion on one side, the open-jawed tiger ready to pounce on the other. In the middle, men, women, and children flee for their lives. They flee with their lives. The aim of the gun, with singularity, seeks out those who escape. The aim of the gun responds with a welcome to those who surrender. Where do I run to? Oh my God, to which place, time and place? Wherever I turn, I see the pointed guns directed at me. Wherever I turn, the blood-stained hands of the assassin, the blood-stained hands of the assassin. Next is a poem by me, Easter 2009, which is also about the last phase of the war and is dedicated to the people of Palestine and to all people resisting oppressive regimes. Easter 2009. As I lie still in an unquiet rest, the bright, brusque midday sun descending into a dull glow, the fluted tones of "It's a Small World After All" drifting through the yellowed pane, breaks into my reverie to conclude on a dying note, the cheery tune. And I refuse once more to write of war-torn limbs, bodies scattered far apart, scarred fetuses, and the white flag burning in the whitest sun, held aloft by a fleeing refugee in the desert sand. I can write only of my own otherness and the survival of the song, drafting words of fleeting fancy on the canvas of my thought. I refuse to sing any requiem for me and my own. Thank you.
I'm going to be reading from the anthology Bring Me Gold, 50 Poems for Palestine, published by Dahlia Books last year. 2025 in the UK. The first poem is by the poet Lisa Suhair Majaj, who is a Palestinian-American poet now living in Cyprus. Gauze. When you learn that gauze comes from Gaza, you will begin to understand how light passing through the translucent fabric illumines the delicate porous openings between threads that interweave to allow molecules of air and light to flow from one place to another without blockade or border. And you will learn how gauze allows us to see, though dimly, through the haze of grief, shrouding what is soft and vulnerable, like the length of fabric a child steals from her mother to drape across a table for a hideaway, peering out without understanding what is happening, too young to know yet that there is no hiding in Gaza. And through this haze, you may be able to glimpse the ones still alive this morning, before the bombs found them, murmuring about hunger and the absence of bread, the softness within them reverberating like an echo past their now crushed bodies. And as you turn away in anguish or despair, or shame perhaps, you will remember that gauze is also used to cover wounds, layering gently over the bleeding place, of which Gaza has so many, we cannot stop counting. And perhaps you too will begin to see through the haze of denial and scream, stop. The next poem is the one that I've written. The Sunbird's Song. On thorbs and tablecloths, Tatrice patterns have paused mid-stitch. There is no one counting threads in villages across Palestine. The olive trees are weighed down by unpicked fruit. Jaffa oranges ripen, explode, moulder in orchards. The zatar overruns hilltops. Its winter sweet scent cannot mask the smell of sulphur. O leaders of men, the sunbird's song lies stricken in its chest. Why do you clamp shut its beak mid-lament? Why do your heels press on its throat mid-breath? And I'll finish with another poem by me, which I wrote about the war in Sri Lanka, but is so relevant to so many of the conflicts going across the world at the moment, including Palestine. Things happen. When they pepper neighborhoods with imported mortars and expansive tank fire. When they go from house to house, lining up girls, women, and men in revenge or on a whim. When they shut down substations and impose curfews and travel embargoes so that market sellers face ruin. When people go unfed, unwashed, and scavenge for scraps. When they shoot blindfolded men in the back and take souvenirs of mutilated lives and hopes. When they rape girls and grandmothers and celebrate the hecatomb of their success. Things happen and the world moves on. Thank you. I'll pass over to Rashika Wick now.
Thank you. I'm going to be reading a poem by Haya Muhammad from The Age of Olive Trees, which was out with Outspoken Press in the UK just this year. And Haya is a contemporary Palestinian poet. How do you find the way to my homeland? I carry a backpack through life, moving from place to escape. Somehow I remain attached to my land. When I return to the tent at night, I pass a lady cooking on a clay oven. The irresistible food fills the air. I say to her, "What a wonderful smell." She replies, "Please come, my daughter." She doesn't know me. I don't know her. I know that this food isn't even enough for her family. This is inevitable in war. She invites me in, calls me her daughter. I realize this is my homeland's true path. When there's only one loaf of bread left for 2 days, no one touches it, despite everyone starving, until my mother divides it among us. Then I know I'm on the right path. Whatever dish she prepares, she sends to her neighbours. They do the same, so no one sleeps hungry. When you go to offer condolences for their martyred children, you find yourself being comforted instead by their immense patience, faith, strength. Walking through streets, you see people sweeping, organising remnants of their homes, others living in a remaining room, their destroyed house, a man sitting on his balcony chair in the rubble having breakfast. When you go to buy something, the seller tells you, pay what you can. If you can't pay, don't. Then you realise who the true owners of the land are. The next poem I'm going to read is also by Haya Muhammad from the same collection, and it's called Daughter of the Sea. I climb to the rooftop where my earth meets the sea, with my journal in hand, a cup of guava leaves after my mother swore this morning she wouldn't care for me if I fell ill. She saw my clothes soaked, my teeth chattering like branches in a storm. I burned with a stubborn desire, a fierce urge to break free from fear into something more stubborn than me. I found myself before the raging sea, before dawn the cold was devouring, whispering, if you're going to defy, don't do it half-heartedly. Don't walk in, jump. In an instant, I realized I was in the Arctic. My body trembled but wouldn't surrender. I wished I hadn't defied anyone. I wished I'd killed that fire in me, but I kept swimming, told my body, the victim of my defiance, it's okay. I swam deeper. A voice behind me broke my thoughts. Get out, you'll drown. The sea is unforgiving. I answered back, who said we can't drown on land? I kept swimming while the world sat on the shore and watched. The next poem that I'm going to read is from a collaborative collection called The Nightmare Sequence by Omar Sakra and Safdar Ahmed, published by the 87 Press, and all proceeds from the book go to Mutual Aid for Palestine. It's a graphic poetry novel format, and this is the first poem that I'm going to read, and it's called Reflection in the Genocide. My son alights on his prize, a mirrored box, and is transfigured. He can see himself and wants nothing more than to release what's within. He shakes his arm, producing a rhythmic clatter. He can't get in. He can't let go. He careens around the living, his whole body bent to the task, distracted by the music made in the struggle. I've seen this process play out with a flower, a book, a banana, the moon, the wind. He's always clutching something. My hands are full of loss. I can't get in. I can't let go. The final poem is from the same collection, and it's called Demonstrations in the Genocide. And that's the illustration to go with it. Show, don't tell, the images say, after a lifetime ignoring our voices. Perform for us, Charlie. Here is a public square full of 10,000 shoes, kid-sized, all your favourite brands, Nike, Reebok, Adidas, lesser knowns and knockoffs too. Look at these ghosts. Look at this silence. It has a shape and more than 10,000 names. I understand the impulse. It echoes history and literature, but Hemingway's 6 words are no longer universal. Nobody cares for an Arab's shoes, nor the bodies they belong to. Look at them all piling up to heaven, and still the killing hasn't stopped. Silence is the wrong shape for this, don't you know? Absence, synonyms, Arab already. Silence is the wrong shape. I have only one child, and every hour he shatters my eardrums. Thank you to all the organisers, to Ghazal at Pamina, and everyone involved in this beautiful act of solidarity and resistance. Thank you.